He was once a model officer in Berlin, yet he helped build Nazi Germany's harsh regime. Trusted by Himmler, given vast powers by Heydrich, then one day, Aschenbrenner appeared on a list of traitors plotting Hitler's demise. A question lingered in the shadows of that Germany. What turned a loyal officer into someone who'd betray the very empire he served for so long? This is the story of a man caught between worlds, loyalty and betrayal, crime and redemption, ambition and fear. A man who saw every dark corner of the regime, then plunged himself into a vortex with no return. This tale traces Aschenbrenner's life, from his disciplined youth to actions that forever question his morality. And the turning point that made him a thorn in Hitler's side. Enjoy history told with respect and neutrality? Subscribe to History for more untold stories and chilling truths. Aschenbrenner grew up in a middle-class Berlin family. His father, a stern teacher. He was raised in discipline, proud of old Prussia, in a generation valuing honor and obedience above all. When World War I broke out, Aschenbrenner volunteered immediately. He fought on the Western Front. Gassed twice, the wounds stayed with him, body and mind, long after the armistice. Germany was chaotic again, street violence constant, the government weak. Extremist factions grew daily. The police bore the brunt of it all. In 1920, he joined Berlin's criminal police force. Aschenbrenner's talent was quickly noticed. He worked quietly, but effectively. He rose fast, from a regular detective to a police commissioner in just a few years. But beneath the calm exterior lay ambition beyond anyone's imagining. He believed Germany needed a new order. It needed a firm hand to restore its standing. This belief drew Aschenbrenner closer to radical ideologies. From war scars, from Weimar's chaos, Aschenbrenner was stepping onto a path that would consume his life. A path leading straight into the darkness of the Nazi Reich. In the early 1930s, Germany was in crisis, plagued by inflation and unemployment. Political violence erupted everywhere. Within the police, the fear of communism became paramount. Aschenbrenner watched it all. He believed order could only be restored by a strong hand. Step by step, he approached right-wing groups within the police. He shared their fear, their desire for a stronger Germany. In 1931, Aschenbrenner joined the Nazi Party. Then the SS too. This wasn't impulsive. It was calculated. He understood that if Hitler gained power, his career prospects would skyrocket. As soon as Hitler became Chancellor, Aschenbrenner sided with the new regime. He purged disloyal officers and restructured departments as Himmler demanded. Thus, he quickly became key in the new security apparatus. From a cool Berlin detective, Aschenbrenner entered the heart of power. He became a vital link between traditional policing and the Nazi enforcement machine. His ambition was being rewarded. Power came faster than he'd imagined. But it also led him to irreversible decisions. Summer 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union. Special units were formed to follow the army. Their mission, secure the rear and eliminate threats. Aschenbrenner volunteered to lead such a unit. He commanded Sondereinheit B, a force with absolute authority in occupied zones. Hundreds were under him, along with local police and army support. Aschenbrenner's HQ was in Minsk. His area stretched from Vilnius to Minsk and Smolensk. Weekly reports went to Berlin. Dry reports, cold figures. But behind those numbers lay countless lives. During this time, Aschenbrenner reportedly sought to boost suppression efficiency. One method tested was using enclosed vehicles for clearance operations. This technique later formed the basis for specialized vehicles elsewhere. By late 1941, reports claimed tens of thousands processed in Aschenbrenner's zone. The true number might be higher. Post-war, he claimed to inflate numbers to downplay brutality. Most historians reject this. Yet, surviving records show he followed orders strictly, with no sign of protest. In October 1941, Aschenbrenner left the front. He returned to Berlin, citing duties at police HQ. No one knows if he genuinely detested what happened in Eastern Europe or just returned to secure his position in the capital. But his time on the Soviet front marked him indelibly. A mark history cannot erase. After leaving the Eastern Front, Aschenbrenner returned to Berlin. He remained head of National Criminal Police. On paper, a loyal officer, a key cog in security. But something within him began to crack. 1942 and 1943 saw Germany weakening. Repeated battlefield defeats eroded faith among high-ranking officials. Aschenbrenner was among them. He began associating with conservative officers. They were disgruntled with Hitler's decisions. They felt Germany was heading for disaster and needed a drastic change. Hans Oster was among them, as were members of the Rotkapelle and Guderian. Later, they formed the core of the plot to assassinate Hitler. Aschenbrenner was seen as valuable, controlling the police system and understanding its workings. Yet, many doubted him. They remembered his actions on the Eastern Front. They knew him as tough and pragmatic. No one was sure if he truly wanted to oppose Hitler or was just seeking survival if Germany lost. Then came the Stassfurt prison break, enraging Hitler. 50 Allied POWs were executed after recapture. Aschenbrenner's office was involved in their selection. This further complicated his image. He stood between two worlds. One offered the power that built his career. The other saw him as a potential ally in overthrowing Hitler. Aschenbrenner tried to stay silent, but silence drew him closer to the abyss. He strayed further from being a policeman, closer to the darkness of an oppressive regime. On July 20, 1944, the bomb under Hitler's table exploded. Germany shook. The coup failed within hours. The repressive apparatus activated instantly. The Gestapo descended on Berlin like a storm. The suspect list expanded relentlessly. Anyone who'd even briefly contacted opposition was arrested. Aschenbrenner's name soon appeared. He was assigned to lead a special police unit. This unit was to act after Hitler's elimination. But the plan collapsed. The order never reached him. Knowing he was exposed, Aschenbrenner vanished from Berlin. He cut all contact, abandoned his office, his power, and hid in a network of safe houses around the capital. For months, Aschenbrenner lived under a false identity. Never staying too long, trusting no one outside old colleagues. He moved constantly, from remote countryside to suburban forests, always fearing a knock at the door at midnight. But the Gestapo net tightened. They hunted him relentlessly, checking every connection, acquaintance, colleague. Early 1945, the final blow fell. A former lover revealed his hiding place. Fear, or coercion, no one knows. On January 16, 1945, Aschenbrenner was arrested. He was taken to Berlin, imprisoned at Lichterfeld. His life entered its final chapter. A chapter with no escape. No friends, no family, no final rights. His name was erased from official records post-execution. His burial site unrecorded. No one knows where he's buried. A man who once wielded immense power. His life ended in silence and darkness. After his arrest, Aschenbrenner faced the People's Court. Infamous for its show trials. Presided over by Roland Freisler, known for his shouting and predetermined verdicts. Aschenbrenner's trial lasted minutes. No debate, no defense, no chance to alter his fate. Freisler stood, shouting accusations. He called Aschenbrenner a traitor, a turncoat, and declared immediate death. Aschenbrenner didn't resist, argue, or beg. He simply stood silent. As if finally understanding all his choices led to this moment. On March 21, 1945, the sentence was carried out at Lutherstrasse prison. Aschenbrenner was taken to the execution site as Berlin lay in ruins, without friends, family, or final rights. His name was erased from official records post-execution. His burial site unrecorded. No one knows where he's buried. A man who once wielded immense power. His life ended in silence and darkness. As if history itself wanted to close the book on him. After the war, many tried to explain Aschenbrenner's path. Some said his conscience awoke, that he joined the anti-Hitler plot seeing the regime's collapse. Others believed he was purely pragmatic, shifting sides as fortunes turned. History offers no clear conclusion. He was a talented officer, yet aided brutal policies. A stern commander in the East, yet secretly met plotters against Hitler. He lived like a shadow, always two-faced, one loyal to power, the other haunted by what he witnessed. In the end, no one knew his motive, guilt, fear, or unquenched ambition. But Aschenbrenner's story serves as a reminder. How power can warp human morality. How a society that loses its limits creates individuals who become its tools. And then are swept away by the very machine they once served. History doesn't forgive wrong choices, but it always leaves a lesson. So future generations can look and avoid repeating what plunged a nation into darkness. Want more on Nazi figures and untold truths? Subscribe to this channel. Found this story thought-provoking? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. More dark truths await beyond the curtain of history.